Real Madrid are eyeing a move for Diogo Dalot, and one thing about Real Madrid is they very rarely get rejected. If Real Madrid want someone, they get them, apart from Lenny Euro. There is news about Edison, the Atalanta midfielder, to Manchester United yet again. We've been linked to him by many sources. Could a move be on the cards in January? What is this dressing room talk? What were the players saying in the dressing room after the FC20 draw that was not acceptable? And to be honest, that was the biggest problem in the game. Who are the potential Ten Hag replacements? Gareth Southgate not going to happen. Laurie Whitwell, Simon Stone, and Fabrizio Romano, three of the most reliable journalists, giving an update on Ten Hag's future, who the replacements could be, what's the possibility of him getting sacked in the international break, and more. And then we'll talk about Will Cox's new role in assisting Ten Hag, how Ten Hag's role has changed under Ineos, and then something Jim Ratcliffe has said in regards to the new manager situation. So, hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a Manchester United news update. Well, we're going to round up all the latest news in 10 minutes for you guys, and then I'll be back live this evening to discuss further news that comes out today and discuss this in more detail. If you haven't already, please do go ahead and hit that like button, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. It will mean a lot to the channel. So let's start with this first story. Don't think there's much in it, so just want to get it out of the way. But it was said that Newcastle United are continuing to watch Edison from Atalanta this season. A move to the Premier League has been mooted, with Liverpool and Man United also among those keeping tabs on the player. Now, for me, I know Liverpool have been linked to him before, but he doesn't suit the profile of player that Slot wants. Slot wants to go with Endo because he wants a possession-based midfielder. Edison is more similar to Casemiro, more similar to Ugarte, so I get why United were looking at him. But I think now we need someone that takes care of the ball better in midfield, a Stiller or an Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton's not had the best start to the season, to be fair, but I think a Stiller or an Adam Wharton now we've got Ugarte, and I think Edison's too similar to Ugarte, but I get with Casemiro potentially leaving, it's more like for like. I like Edison of Atalanta. I don't think he's a bad player, but I think Subamende, Stiller, Adam Wharton, they might just suit United a bit better. I think he's all right in possession, but I think he's more of an out-possession monster, and I think we've got that in Ugarte. I just want someone that takes care of the ball a bit better. But if United did go for him, I'm not against it. I rate the player. I think he's a good player, but I can see him going elsewhere, to be honest. Now, let's talk about Diogo Dalot. Now, there's been a few reports in Spain recently about Madrid looking at Diogo Dalot, and then there's been a recent report today from Give Me Sport, and a few British sources are picking up on it, saying that Real Madrid will move for Manchester United fullback if they're unable to bring Trent Alexander-Arnold to Liverpool. Now, this isn't the first time this has sort of been rumoured around, but you sort of ignore initial rumours from Spanish sources because you know what Spanish media can be like. But I believe this. I know Give Me Sport, they're one of those websites where they'll get really reliable people on, like Fabrizio Romano, and then they get, nonsense journalists on. But I think that Real Madrid are looking at Diogo Dalot, and this has been rumoured about a little bit in Spain, because you look at Diogo Dalot, can play left back, can play right back. He's a very technically sound player, very good at playing out from the back, very all-round versatile player. He's reliable. Trent is what they want because Trent is just Trent. He's this creative monster. But Dalot can invert, he can overlap, he can underlap, he's improving, he can play left back, he can play right back, he can play in midfield, he's versatile. Trent can play in midfield. People like Reece James can't stay fit. I actually think on the right back market, Diogo Dalot is one of the best options to have. Frimpong is more of a winger these days. I think in Mazraoui and Dalot, we have some of the best options. Now, in my opinion, I wouldn't sell Dalot. I feel like we're in our rebuild and he's a key player going forward. Now, I've been super impressed with Mazraoui. Mazraoui's been playing right back. He's been amazing. I really like Mazraoui. And I guess if you get a new left back and another new right back, you could sell Dalot and let Dalot go to Madrid. But unless you're getting 50 million plus, I wouldn't consider it. Personally, I wouldn't want Dalot to go because he's been our most reliable fullback in the Ten Hag era. In an era where none of our fullbacks can stay fit, Dalot, bar I think a little bit of an injury in the first season after the World Cup, has been our most reliable fullback. He can play left back, he can play right back. He's probably been our most consistent player under Erik Ten Hag, and he's such a versatile player that, in my opinion, I would not want to see him go. I think if Real Madrid want him, we might lose him to Real Madrid. I'm going to be totally honest. I think we might. We know we didn't lose out on Euro. Maybe he stays, but hopefully Real Madrid get Trent because that takes a very good player off Liverpool. It was also said this. I want to talk about the FC20 game and some comments that Eriksen made in the dressing room. Christian Eriksen reveals unacceptable Man United dressing room chat after FC20 draw. And it was said, in fact, the 32-year-old admitted that the players were speaking in the dressing room and said the Dutch visitors wanted it more than us, which is unacceptable to hear for any United fan. I think we're mostly disappointed to see, Eriksen said. We wanted more, but it was far from good enough. As we said in the dressing room, they wanted it more, is what he told TNT Sport. And Eriksen's right. I said it in my match reaction. I said, I don't think there's a big issue with the Man United players recently in terms of work rate, in terms of mentality, in terms of dressing room issues. I said, I actually think these players, we saw in the FA Cup final, were playing for Ten Hag and were playing for Ten Hag to keep his job. I don't think they were turning on the manager or anything like that. But I felt in the FC20 game, they just weren't up for it. I felt like FC20 wanted it more. I felt that the players weren't up for it, and Eriksen said that himself. Now, it's unacceptable that the Man United players, after a match at Old Trafford, go into the dressing room and say, yeah, they wanted it more than us. Because I think you've got the privilege to play for Manchester United. You are playing for the badge. When you walk out at Old Trafford, that is millions of people's dreams. You're one of the few players that's going to walk out on a European night. I know it's the Europa League, but at Old Trafford in the Manchester United shirt. And for the other team to come to Old Trafford and want it more than us shouldn't be acceptable. If you look at the history of this club and this great football club, when you wear that Man United shirt, you should want to give everything. You should want it more than anyone else. You should realise what it is to play for Man United and Old Trafford. And FC20 haven't been in Europe in 12 years, and they knew what the occasion was, and Man United didn't. And that costed us because they did want it more than us, and it was not acceptable. Now let's talk about Ten Hag's job, Ten Hag's future, because there's a few rumours and stories going about. Simon Stone said this: unlikely Ten Hag is sacked at the next international break, but hand could be forced if results don't improve. Southgate only linked because there's a good relationship with Brailsford, but unlikely if Ten Hag sacked. So Simon Stone and every reliable journalist has said Southgate is extremely unlikely, just because he's just been linked because there's a good relationship with Brailsford. But they're saying Ten Hag being sacked at the international break is unlikely, but could be forced if results don't improve, aka we lose to Porto, Tottenham and Villa. It could be forced, but again, a lot of reliable sources have said the earliest they think anything would happen with Ten Hag is November. They think Ineos will give him not October international break, but November international break. November to turn it around. I think the earliest I can see Ten Hag being sacked is November as well. It was said again by Laurie Whitwell, if Erik Ten Hag was sacked, the club would take separate view on Rene Hake and Ruud van Nistelrooy. United exhausted manager options in May and June. There's no new compelling candidates yet. He says yet, but that is an opinion. He said Ten Hag would be under huge pressure if he fails to win against Spurs, Porto, Villa, but would be surprised if he loses his job next international break, as there's no rumbling about successor. So they're saying even if Ten Hag uses his next 3 games, he's under the same pressure, but they don't think he gets sacked. If he is going to get sacked, it's probably in November. Probably has a couple games after the international break to turn it around when Shaw and a few more key players are back. I think, to be honest, Ruud van Nistelrooy would be looked at. Unless there's someone that Ineos want and is available now, I'd assume Ruud van Nistelrooy gets it. I don't think there's enough convincing behind Graham Potter, and he was available in the summer. So, Flick would have been good, but he's gone to Barcelona balling out. Maybe they go for Nagelsmann. It'd be interesting, but Nagelsmann would need time because he'd have to change a lot. I was then said by Fabrizio Romano that Manchester United keep trusting Eric and want to give him some time. It's going to be important to have all the players back as soon as possible, 100% fit, full support to Ten Hag, of course. Eric, the staff, the club hope to see different results soon, and that Southgate's never been a strong possibility again, says Whitwell. So Fabrizio Romano is saying that United are going to trust Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag's got to November. Even if we lose the next 3 games, I think he's got to November. I think he'll have a couple games in November to prove something, and if he doesn't show it around and we don't get the results, he could be gone by Christmas, but again, I think he gets to the November international break. Even if we lose, I don't think he's gone in October. I think they want to give him a bit more time. They want to show him more support. They know that players need to come back, and that's what Romano said. It was said in regards to Wilcox and the change in Ten Hag's role by Laurie Whitwell that Wilcox brought in to provide a technical eye at the training ground and assist Ten Hag on a daily basis in a way Murta never tried. And I think Wilcox is such an improvement on Murta. It was said that Ten Hag can bounce ideas off Wilcox, who then links up with the executive level. So Ten Hag is now, rather than bouncing ideas off Murta, who knows nothing about football and tactics, he can bounce it off Wilcox. Wilcox will not be telling Ten Hag how to coach or how the team should play. The leadership will have thoughts, and these will be shared with Ten Hag. United want a high-pressing team who can dominate possession, and I think Wilcox is the mouthpiece between Ten Hag and the executive level. And I do like the job that Wilcox is doing. Apparently he's doing a good job in communicating and is an improvement on, obviously, John Murta. And then I want to get into this quote that Sir John Ratcliffe said in February. We will decide the style of football with the general manager, the sporting director, and probably recruitment managers. And it will be Man United style, and the manager will have to play that style, which is interesting because Laurie Whitwell is saying that Brailsford isn't directing a style. But I definitely think there's a way that Ineos want to play and a system that they want Ten Hag to implement. And if he doesn't, they will bring in another manager to do that. Guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Please do go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. And also, there is a link in the description to go ahead and vote me in the Football Content Awards. I've been nominated for 3 awards at this year's FCA's Best in Video Individual, Best Club Content Creator Premier League, and Best Influencer. So it would mean the world to me if you could vote for me if you have not already. Thank you for watching. There'll be a link in the description. Bye.